So friends, let us start our session. Before going into the new concepts of Selenium IDE, I will give a very quick recap of what we have discussed in yesterday's session. We just started off with a tool called Selenium IDE. IDE is an add-on for the Firefox browser. Just keep in mind that IDE is not a separate software. IDE is getting installed as an add-on for the Firefox browser. Now, whatever testing you are trying to do, manually you do that testing. IDE will record all those activities and it will create an automation program. So in order to work on IDE, we do not require any programming knowledge. This was what we have discussed. We also created a very sample script on IDE, but for the sake of those who missed yesterday's session, just watch. This is how you can actually download IDE, friends. If you want to download IDE, you need to have Mozilla Firefox installed on your machine. Okay, just concentrate on the screen. What you do is launch your Firefox and then you navigate to our site, which is seleniumhq.org. Now on this site, on the home page itself, we'll find a tab download. Click on that download tab and navigate a little down on this page. You will find Selenium IDE. You can actually download, just click on that link, IDE gets installed, less than 1 minute. Now once IDE is installed, if you go into your tools menu, in the tools menu you will find that Selenium IDE is getting installed. So IDE is getting installed as an add-on for your existing Firefox browser. Now when I launch my IDE, you see that this is my IDE screen, and this IDE screen, it's you know, we really don't need to do anything. What we have to do is whatever testing activity you are planning to do, that you perform it manually. Let's say I want to test the registration functionality, employee registration or login functionality. You do it one time manually. IDE will record all those activities and it will create an automation program. How does it record? On the right hand side you have a button which is called as record button. It's currently on recording position. Now I will open some website and I will show you. Let's say today we will work on the new tools demoaut.com. So we are coming to this site. I will enter my username. Just a second. I'll enter my username as admin. I will also enter my password as admin and finally click on the sign in button. Now if I go to the IDE, do you see some automation program is getting generated? You just stop the recording, and if you want to test the login functionality again and again repeatedly, we can simply click on this button, play current test case. Just watch what happens. It will open the home page, it will enter my username, password and click on the sign in button. So one time we are testing the application manually, n number of times you can use your automation program for whatever regression testing you want to do. This is what we have seen in yesterday's session. Okay. Now based on that, we'll continue with some more concepts today. Let me save this program. I'll click on file, click on save test case. On the desktop, I will call this program as a login program. Any meaningful name you give. Now, if I close my IDE, you will see that on the desktop, we will have a login program. Do you see this? This was the login program I have created. By default, these programs are saved in HTML format. If I double click on it, do you see it's directly loading in a browser? Whatever steps we have recorded, all those steps are present over there. So you see that complete IDE program. Now, if I want to load this into my IDE, all I have to do is launch my IDE one more time, and then you click on file menu, then you click on open. What is the name of the program we have created? Login. Just pick up the program. Is it getting captured into your IDE? So IDE is a very simple mechanism of Selenium for creating automation programs. It will work even though you do not have any programming knowledge. Okay, now let's continue from there. I want to create another bigger program. So again, I just click on file and we'll click on new test case. Ensure that your tool is on recording mode. I'll click on it. Now we will test another functionality on the same page. This is what I want to do. I want to navigate to the home page of the new tools demoaut.com. Do you see on the topmost part we have a register link? I'll click on that link. Please keep in mind, Whatever I am doing manually, IDE is recording all those activities. Okay. Now I will enter my details. Let's say these are the details that I would like to enter: first name, last name, my phone number, some random number I'll give. Okay. Similarly, some random email ID. All this is invalid data, but doesn't matter. So some address, the city, similarly the state where I live. Imagine this is my postal code, this is my country. The username, I want my username to be Krishna. Some password I will give, confirm the password and click on the submit button. Finish. Manually we have performed the registration one time. Once it is done, when I go to my IDE, do you see a big program got generated over here? Depending on whatever registration we have done, for each step IDE has recorded a program and it has created this complete stuff. Now if I want to run this program, all I have to do is simply stop the recording and click on this button, play current test case. See what is happening. It will go to my home page, click on the register link. One after other, whatever details we have entered manually, IDE is repeating all those activities. So IDE essentially is the tool which simply remembers whatever actions you are doing on the Firefox, and it is creating a corresponding automation program. Now I want to make some changes to the program. If you actually look at the program that I have created over here, friends, if you look at the program, are we really creating any program? We are simply manually testing the application. IDE is automatically generating a program, right? I want to add some more steps, not simply recording. I want to add some more steps. Like, see, the last activity that my program is doing is it's clicking on a button called register. Now, once the registration is over, as a tester, do you think your responsibility is to check whether registration is successful or not? Ante kada? As a tester, I would like to check whether the registration is successful or not. How do you do that? Ideally speaking, this is how it has to be done. Just watch. If you want to check whether the registration is successful or not, see, this is my web application. On the web application, you're doing some activities, you're entering all the details, and finally you're clicking on the submit button. If the registration is really successful, don't you think all this data should be stored in a database, right? So we should connect to the database and check whether the data is really stored or not. But this is my question. Do we have access over the database of this site? No, we don't. It's not our site, right? It's given by the HP community. We don't have access over the database. So because we don't have access over the database, to check whether the registration is successful or not, what I will do is I will take up some message which will come once registration is over. Like, if the registration is really successful, it should display this message. Your username is Krishna. If that message is coming, I'll conclude that registration is successful. See, a very simple example I'll give you. Once you log into your Gmail account, you enter your username, password, and click on the sign in button. Whatever account you are seeing, what is the guarantee that that is your account? Right. It shows some checkpoints on day-to-day basis. You see that it says welcome so and so, your name comes over there, or your beautiful photo comes on the right hand corner, which we see on a day-to-day basis. Based on that, we understand immediately that this is my account, right? In the same way, on this application, if the registration is really successful, it should show this message. What is that message? Your username is so and so, whatever we have given. If that message is coming, I will conclude that my registration is successful. So when should we check whether the registration is successful or not? We should check after all these steps are executed, right? In the IDE, whatever steps are there, once all the steps are executed, then in the end I have to check whether the registration is successful or not. So I want to insert a new command at this location where I am putting the mouse control. So wherever you want to insert a new command, you place the mouse control on that command, on that location, and come back to your application. And in the application, which text you are trying to put as a checkpoint. Checkpoint is nothing but something which is used for validating whether an element is present or not. So you come here, highlight the text, right click on the text. When you right click on the text, are we getting an option show all available commands? Show all available commands. Do you see that? This option comes on your Firefox browser only after IDE is installed. On your regular Firefox browser, if you right click, you will not get this option. Only after installing IDE, we'll get that option. So place the mouse control on it. You see so many commands it is showing. These are the list of Selenium commands which can be implemented on the text or on that entire page. Out of these commands, for now, I will take a command verify text. When I take that verify text, if I show you the IDE, do you see a new command got generated here? Verify text. What is the text that it is going to verify, friends? Note your username is Krishna. Now, at this point of time for today's session, I don't want you to worry about what these are. These are called as locators. What is locator? Everything we'll try to identify in detail. See, now in this session, let's say I want to address one person uniquely. I'll say Naresh, I want to talk to you because it's a name using which I can address one person. Similarly, for the Selenium program to identify some elements, for those things it will be identifying based on name or ID or different locators. It's a very vague idea. Don't worry. In another 2 days, we'll go deeper into the concept of locators. Okay. You just understand these are the Selenium commands and this is the data with which that command is getting executed. Just keep that one point in mind. Now, if you look at my IDE, you see we have inserted a new command. That command is going to check whether a text called your username is Krishna is present or not. Now, some more things I want to insert. If you analyze the program that I have created, you will see that this program is actually navigating through 3 different pages. Watch, this is the first page. On this first page, you are clicking on register. Second page is coming. In the second page, you are doing some more activities and finally we are clicking on submit. The third page is coming on the screen. So when your automation program is moving from one page to another page, don't you think we should also check whether we are navigating through the correct pages or not? You're understanding? When your automation program is moving from page to page, the program should actually check whether it is opening the correct pages or not. Now to do that, again we can insert some checkpoints like, see, before entering the first name, last name, all these details, I want to check whether we are really present on the registration page or not. So I know that if it's a registration page, it should contain this text called contact information. If that text is present, I will come to the conclusion that we are on the registration page. But where should I check for this text, friends? Before we enter first name. So come to your IDE, come back to your IDE, where you have entered first name, just place the mouse control, click on it. Now come back to your application, highlight the text that you want to work on, right click on that text and same drama, verify text. You see a new command got inserted over here, and what is the text it is going to verify? Contact information, which means your program will first launch the new tour site. It will click on a link called register, then immediately it will check if a text called contact information is present or not. Then see, what I am trying to show you is rather than simply recording, you can also insert checkpoints here and there depending on your requirement. Now let me run the program. Opening my home page, click on register, check whether contact information is present or not, then continue with entering the data. Then continue with entering the data. Okay, finish. Now look at the IDE. At the end of the IDE program, we have actually never discussed this, but if you look at the results, do you see on the left hand corner we are getting a green color bar over there, which means my program has passed. If something failed, you will get with a red color bar. Okay, that is how you understand whether the program, IDE program has passed or failed. Okay, now we'll go into some interesting concepts before taking the notes. Friends, if you want to edit any of the commands which are generated in IDE, for example, what is the phone number I have entered? 9999. I don't want that. I want something else. What you do is just click on that. The moment you click on it, do you see whatever command we have clicked on, that is getting generated automatically in the downward portion of IDE? Whichever thing you click on. Now at this location you can make the changes. Now I would say my phone number is not 999 but it is 888. The moment I make the changes over here, do you see in the IDE script also it is getting generated? So whichever commands you want to edit, simply click on that command. Once it is generated in this downward section, you can make whatever changes you want. Now what I will do is, just to show you how verification commands work, I'll click on this verify text command. When you click on the verify text command, we see that the verify text command related information is getting generated here. I will change the value. I will say contact information 123. When I change the values, do you see in the code also application is changing? Now your program is going to verify a text called, what is the text, friends? Contact information 123. Do we have anything called contact information 123 on the page? No. So should the program pass or fail? It should fail. But watch how it fails. Okay, contact information 123 is not there, but is my program continuing or is it stopping? It is continuing. It is continuing. Okay, so if you look at the IDE, you'll get the results shortly. We are getting the results in a red color bar, which means the program failed. Apart from that, you can actually see the logs also. Where will I find the logs? In order to see the logs in the downward section, you will have a tab called log tab. Click on it, and if you see what is the result of our test case, it says fail. The reason for the failure also it will show you. What is it saying? The actual value that it found was contact information. It did not match contact information 123. Isn't it true that testing is nothing but comparing expected outcome with actual outcome? Already we have expected data, actual data, both you compare. If they are same, we say it's passed, otherwise it is failed. But the thing you need to remember is verification commands are used to check if an element is present on the page or not. If the element is present, it will give a pass status and continue. If the element is not present, it will give a fail status, but it will still continue the execution of the program. It's not stopping the program. Just keep that in mind. Now, on the other hand, other than verifications, we have another set of commands which are called as assertion commands. Simple, click on that command, and now instead of saying verify text, I will say assert text. Assert text. Do you see the command got changed in your IDE also? Now watch what happens. Now before doing that, I'll actually clear the logs also. Okay, let's clear the logs. Now run the program. Please watch. Opening my home page. Now it should click on register link. Check for contact information 123, which is not present. Is it continuing the program or is it stopping the program? It is stopping the program. So you see the result of the program has come up with a failed result. So from my end, I'll give you the definition. Verification commands and assertion commands both are used to check if an element is present on the page or not. Okay. The difference is that if the element is not present, verifications will give a failed result and it will continue the program. Assertions will stop the program. I hope you are understanding. Both verification and assertion are used to check if element is present or not. Main difference is that verifications will continue whereas assertions will stop. Now this is my question. Can someone tell me what are the scenarios where we would prefer to go with verification and what are the scenarios where we use assertions? ఎటువంటి scenarios లో verifications ని prefer చేస్తారు, ఎలాంటి scenarios లో assertions useful అంటారు? Login. Imagine if the login functionality itself is not working, can we further do any testing? No. We call it as, high severity, high priority, whatever. So we go with assertions. Good. Verifications? If it's not affecting the functionality of your application in a very severe way, we go with assertions. Like this example. Just watch. Imagine that the new tools website that I am testing is having 100 pages. first page, second page, like that 100 pages are there. On all these 100 pages, my requirement is I want to have this logo on the left corner. On all the 100 pages on the left corner, I want to have that logo. Now, do you think that logo is serving any functionality on our page? No, it's only my business requirement that I want to have it. It's not serving any functionality. Now, I will create a Selenium IDE program which will go to the first page, check whether the logo is present or not. Then go to the second page, third page, like this. It should check all the 100 pages. Imagine that on the 20th page, the logo is missing. Should my program continue or should it stop? It should continue, but it should report an error saying that on the 20th page, the logo is missing. So we go with verification. So to make it simple, verification commands are used when you feel that that is not a very critical functionality. We just want to report the error, but we want to continue with the testing. Assertions are used when there is no point in testing until it is fixed. There is a particular problem. Until that functionality is properly fixed, there is no point in continuing. In those scenarios, we go with assertions. Okay, this is how we create the stuff. Now, let's take some notes, friends. Put the heading as Selenium commands. Please take down the notes, friends, even online and classroom, everyone. Selenium IDE commands, rather, let's call it as, because these are not the exact Selenium commands that we will be learning. Selenium IDE commands. Fine. The first command that probably all of you have seen was open command. Look at my IDE screen. Do you see at the beginning of the program itself, we are getting a open command. Automatically it is generated. What do you think is the purpose of the open command? It's navigating to a URL. It's just moving to some URL. Okay, take down. Open. This is used to navigate to a URL. This is used to navigate to a URL. Okay, next. One more thing. It says open, but after saying open, in the target area, is it really specifying any URL, friends? No, we simply have a / over there. Just watch, open and /. Then how is your program understanding that it should go to the new tour site? How did it understand yesterday that we were working on the Yahoo Mail page? / in Selenium IDE represents what is called as the base URL. Do you see the base URL at the top corner? So wherever this / is there, automatically that will be replaced with the base URL. Okay, take down. Just continue. A / in the target area, in the target area represents the base URL. A / in the target area represents the base URL. The next command is click command. Click. Pure common sense. This is used to click on a link or image or a button, checkbox, etc. Checkbox, etc. It accepts one argument. It accepts one argument. It just accepts one argument, friends. That argument is the location where it has to click. Don't worry if you're not understanding what this argument is. We'll see that once we start off with WebDriver. It accepts one argument, the location where it has to click. Apart from click, there is also another command which is automatically getting generated, which is called click and wait. Look at my IDE. Do you see in some scenarios we are getting click and wait command? You know what click and wait command does? After clicking on an element, in some scenarios, it requires that the next page would be loading. Right? You are clicking on a link, the next page should load. Isn't it true that sometimes because the internet connection might be slow or the application itself is slow, we see it takes time. We see the globe rotating, right? It takes time. How will your IDE program understand that the page is loading and I have to wait? IDE does not understand anything. By default, it simply waits for 30 seconds. Within 30 seconds, if the next page loads, it will work. Otherwise, it will throw a error message. Okay. Click and wait is used for clicking on an element and for waiting 30 seconds. Okay. Take down. Click and wait. This is used click on an element and wait for 30 seconds for the next page to load. Wait for 30 seconds for the next page to load. Wait for 30 seconds for the next page to load. This is used to click on an element and wait for the next page to load. Okay. The next command that automatically got generated in our process of recording was type command. See, in my IDE, most of the commands you see are type commands. Where these type commands are getting generated? Input fields. When you are entering your usernames, passwords, okay, take down type. This is used to enter text into input fields. This is used to enter text into input fields. It accepts two arguments. It accepts two arguments. The first one is location where it has to enter the data. Location where it has to enter the data. The second one is the data to be entered. Location where it has to enter the data. The second one is the data to be entered. Select. See, on my IDE screen, in the process of recording, we automatically generated a command called select. You know where the select command got generated? When you are working on the drop down. Okay, automatically it's getting generated. Okay, take down. Select. This is used to select an option from the drop down. This is used to select an option from the drop down. It accepts two arguments. It accepts two arguments. What are those? The first one is name of the drop down. Name of the drop down. The second one is option to be selected from the drop down. It is accepting two arguments. One is name of the drop down. The second one is option to be selected from the drop down. See, since yesterday onwards, once I started off with IDE, I was repeatedly saying that IDE does not really serve any purpose in our real-time testing. We do the testing totally through WebDriver or Grid. But there is one question which is generally asked in interviews on IDE also very frequently. I can't say that it's purely IDE related question because the same concept comes up once I go into the TestNG and JUnit frameworks also. That is, what is the difference between verification and assertion? I hope everyone knows the difference, right? Just take down. See, what we will do is whenever we are actually covering any concepts related to that concept, what are the possible interview questions? Those questions also we will actually try to note. Rather than at the end of the sessions, if I give you a list of 100 or 200 questions, no one will go through that. So we'll just cover one concept or two concepts. In those concepts, what are the generally asked interview questions? There itself we'll note down so that it will make more sense and it will be easier for you to understand. Okay, so just put an interview question. Difference between verification and assertion. Difference between verifications and assertions. Tell me what is the difference? verification commands, already I told you, verification commands, please take down, verification commands are used to check if an element is present. If I'm going fast, just look at the screen. If an element is present in the application or not. Verification commands are used to check if an element is present in the application or not. If the element is present, it will give a pass status and continue. If the element is present, it will give a pass status and continue. If it is not present, it will give a fail status and continue the program. It will give a fail status and continue the program. Example, we have used this command, verify text. All these commands are case sensitive. How I am writing, you copy in the same format. Generally these commands, the first word starts with a lowercase alphabet, second word onward they start with uppercase alphabets. So verification commands are used to check if an element is present in the application or not. If the element is present, it will give a pass status and continue. If it is not present, it will give a fail status and continue the program. Example, just take the example you see on my screen. Okay, next one. Assertion commands are also used if the element is present or not, but they stop the execution of the program if the element is not present, but they stop the execution of the program if the element is not present. Example, assert text, assert alert, etc. Assert text, assert alert, etc. Okay, everyone is good with the difference, right? What is verification and what is assertion? Okay, one more concept we will take up on Selenium IDE. See, just look at my screen. I'll change this assertion, otherwise again and again the program will fail. Okay, fine. So I'll save the second program also. Save test case. Let's call this program as registration. Two programs we have created in IDE. One is the login program and other one is the registration program. Now, please listen. Imagine that in this way you have created different programs for testing different functionalities. Login, registration. This is a a travel website. So I want to book a ticket on some flight. So all those different activities I have created different programs. Whenever a new build of the software is released, I want to run all my programs and check whether everything is working or not. Ante kada? Testing is nothing but whenever the developer is releasing any new build of the software, we have to test everything, whether everything is intact or not. Now, imagine you created 100 programs in this way, and when a new build comes, what will I do? Will I open each and every program and then click on play current test case, then go to the second program, click on play current test case? 100 programs you have created. I want to test all these 100 programs. Does that mean I will open each and every program and click on the play button? No. We do what is called as batch testing, or it is also called as test suite execution. Test suite execution is nothing but combining multiple programs and trying to execute them from one point of control. How many programs we have created currently? 2 programs. Now you could have created 200 programs, doesn't matter. What you do is click on this file and click on save test suite. Give some test suite name. I'll call it as my test suite. Any meaningful name you give, doesn't matter. Now let's close IDE. Let's go to our desktop just to do you see? This is the login program. This is the registration program I have created. Apart from that, do we also have something called My Test Suite? Now this My Test Suite is nothing but a combination of both login and registration. Both the programs are present. If I want to do test suite execution, all I have to do is I launch my IDE, and in IDE click on the file menu and then click on open test suite. Okay. Now, what is the name of the test suite I created? My Test Suite. Just call it. Do you see all that both the programs got loaded? Now, all these days we were clicking on this button, play current test case, but on the left hand side, do we have one more button called play entire test suite? This play entire test suite will execute all the programs which are currently present in your, okay. Now, is anyone feeling that my programs are, the IDE programs are running very slow? They are not slow. I am actually slowing down the speed of the program. Otherwise, you won't see what is happening. Meeru edaina chudali. Just because I want you to see things happening on the screen, I am putting this synchronization bar on slow position. Otherwise, if I just keep it on fast position and click on that play, before you see what is happening, program will be over. So, andukosam slow down chestunnanu. Okay. So, let's again put it on slow down and we will click on play entire test suite. Watch, first it should do login. Okay, now once login is over, it should start the next program, which is my registration program. And look at the results currently. Do you see half of the results on IDE are coming in green color, which means one test case is over, it's passed. Now it's in the process of executing the second test case. Okay, I think second test case is also over. We'll get complete green color if everything is working correctly. It's taking so much time. Pages, this is the problem I was talking about. The page is taking time to load. So maybe it'll wait for 30 seconds and then it might give an error if it does not load. Yes, fortunately it loaded within 30 seconds and we see that both the programs have passed. If you look into the logs on my screen, you will see that what is the last statement? Test suite is completed, 2 played and all are passed. Please remember one thing. Even if one test case in your test suite fails, even if one test case fails, the result of the test suite will be failed result. Even if one test case is failing, we'll call that test suite as a failed test suite. Okay, fine. The next one. Okay, this was the question. I was telling you that verification commands will continue even if it fails. Assertions will stop if something fails. Now imagine you have created a test suite with 2 programs. In the first program, assertion failed. Will it continue to the second program or will it stop the complete test suite? It will continue. Test suite execution simply means that even if one test case fails, it will attempt to execute the second test case. Assertions and verifications will work only on that one single test case. They don't apply for the entire test suite. So in a particular test case, if assertion fails, in that test case, further steps will not be executed, but it will attempt to execute the second test case and all other test cases. Okay, take down. Put the heading as test suite execution. Test suite execution or okay, take down. Multiple test cases can be combined. Multiple test cases can be combined as a single test suite. Can be combined as a single test suite, and then we can execute them. We can execute them from one point of control. We can execute them from one point of control. This is called batch testing. This is called batch testing. Take down the navigations. Take down the navigations. The first step is create multiple test cases. Create multiple test cases in IDE. Second step, save them as a single test suite. 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 Look at my screen. Save them as a single test suite. Which button we are clicking on? Play entire test suite. Okay. Click on play entire test suite. Click on play entire test suite. Finish. Okay. The last point for today's session is, what is the default waiting time of Selenium when moving from one page to another page? 30 seconds. I already told you this. Now, if you see that on a day-to-day basis, your application is responding very slowly. 30 seconds is the default time, but isn't it true that some pages we see regularly, they take a lot of time, right? So if you find that 30 seconds is not sufficient, you require more time for the page to load, you can actually change the default waiting time. How do you do it? Click on options menu and then click on options menu. Oh, you know, already I have changed it for my previous batch, but on your machine you will actually find the value as 30,000. The default timeout value you will find is 30,000 milliseconds, which is nothing but 30 seconds. Now, if that is not sufficient, you change it. I will make it as 50,000, which means now it will wait for 50 seconds. You can increase it or you can decrease it. Okay, take down. The default waiting time. The default waiting time of IDE when moving from page to page is 30 seconds. When moving from page to page is 30 seconds. This can be increased. This can be increased or decreased using the following navigations. Using the following navigations. What are those? The first step is click on options. One more time you click on options. Click on options, click on options. Now after clicking on options for 2 times, see, you're clicking on options, then where are we going? Go to default timeout value. Take down. Go to default timeout value. Go to default timeout value and change the time. Go to default timeout value and change the time. Okay. So friends, I would like to stop the session for today. But if anyone has any questions in IDE, you can ask me. Emileva? Fine. Okay. So friends, probably today's session is the last demo session. So Monday onwards, we'll be having complete 1.5 hour session, not like last 3 days. Okay. So online guys, if anyone has any questions, you can ask me. Today everyone is exceptionally silent. Enti weekend mood.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi. So my name is Abhinav.
Yeah, Abhinav.
So I have I have one question, sir.
Yes, Abhinav.
So actually, IDs we can use ID for everything. Like you are operating, automating entire thing in ID. So what is the use of WebDriver if you are doing anything? If you
See,
are
ID,
doing everything in ID, yeah.
Abhinav, probably I think you did not come for the last two sessions, right?
No, I did not come.
Fine, Abhinav. Doesn't matter, Abhinav. You can just ping your email ID. We'll send you the link for the last two sessions. We actually discussed these concepts in detail in the last two sessions. IDE basically supports a framework called as linear testing framework where everything is tested in a step-by-step fashion. We can't do conditional statements. I mean, I want to check if a particular condition is true. Based on that, I want to create my program, or I want to execute a particular step n number of times. All those steps are not possible. And the other main drawback of IDE is Selenium. By default, we always say that Selenium can do testing on any browser and it can do testing on any operating system. Whereas when it comes to IDE is limited to the Firefox browser. That itself is a very, very serious flaw. But
Okay,
nevertheless, you just go through yesterday's video. Probably it will become more clear. All that we require is please ping your email ID
sure,
in the chat.
sure.
Okay. Yeah. So, any other questions from anyone? IDE kada వాళ్ళు కూడా లైట్ గా తీసుకుంటున్నారు. Fine, good. It's good that you don't have any questions in IDE, but once I start off with WebDriver, I'm expecting that people will come up with more and more questions. Okay, fine. It's this is a challenge for both my online students and my classroom students. Do not blindly go with what the trainer is saying. Please get into the habit of questioning the trainer, get into the habit of challenging the trainer. Okay, so if you see that I'm giving some notes or some concept, please try to do some kind of background verification on what I am telling. I'm repeatedly stressing this point because increasingly over here in Amirpet, I see a lot of students coming with beautiful notes given by different trainers, which are nothing but blunders. So ఎందుకలా అవుతుంది అని అంటే students never question the trainers. They think that whatever the trainer is telling, it should be correct. No, that is not so. At least in Amirpet, it's not so. So please, what you do is just in your respective countries, because we have people from different countries over here, in your whatever places you are coming from, just do a little bit of research in your whatever job portals you have on Selenium. What are the requirements they are asking? Go through our course content. Please check whether we are really covering all those concepts or not. Related to Selenium, if there is something that is missing which we are not covering, probably you can just mail us. We will see if we can actually go through it. But please do that. Please do that. Okay. Fine, friends. I'll stop the session. Have a very nice weekend. We'll meet on Monday. Monday nunchi it will start. Monday I'll wind up IDE and I'll start off with Java. If there is someone who already has good knowledge of Java, don't think that first few sessions no need to attend, because Java already we know. The pattern that we follow is we'll be learning Java and Selenium both parallelly, which means Monday I'll start with Java, parallelly I'll start off with WebDriver also. So both will be happening parallelly. Please don't miss even a single session from Monday onwards. Very important concepts will start up. Okay, fine. So we'll stop the session. Things will become very interesting from the next session once I start programming. Okay, we'll stop. Bye for now.